The Prime Minister today, well, I think it was his finest hour. Scott Morrison outlined what Australia will do to fight the coronavirus, and I think he's right. No, we won't do what Italy and France are doing. There'll be no lockdown, at least not yet, no closing of businesses, no forcing of Australians to stay at home, no closing of our schools, not yet.
Whatever we do, we've got to do for at least 6 months. 6 months. So that means the disruption that would occur from the closure of schools around this country, make no mistake, would be severe. What do I mean by severe? Tens of thousands of jobs could be lost, if not more. The impact on the availability of health workers, a 30% impact on the availability of health workers is our advice.
So what the government will do is try to keep the economy going somehow while limiting the spread of a virus that so far keeps spreading very fast. In the last 24 hours, the number of cases jumped by 24% to 556 cases. And another death overnight takes our toll to 6, all people aged 77 or older. So, to slow this spread so that hospitals aren't flooded and can treat at least the sickest people and keep them alive, Scott Morrison announced unprecedented restrictions.
So a ban on non-essential gatherings of persons 100 and greater in indoor areas. The travel advice to every Australian is do not travel abroad. Do not go overseas. The biggest incidence of cases that we've had, which Dr Murphy can go into, has been from Australians returning from overseas.
And of course, if you've got the virus and told to self-isolate at home for a couple of weeks, you must do that or you will risk severe fines. But the government cannot now hope to stop the virus, but it is trying to protect particularly the people it's most likely to kill, older Australians.
Limiting visits to a short duration. Limiting visits to a maximum of 2 visitors at one time per day.
But like I said, there won't be, at least for now, a lockdown as we see in Italy, as we saw in Wuhan, where China does seem to have brought the virus under control, again, for now. The Chief Medical Officer explained why.
There is no way that we can lock down society, make everyone stay home, and then in a month's time undo that, because the virus will just flare up again without any real long-term benefit.
Now, of course, the government's approach comes with a risk, but a lockdown now would be absolutely devastating to so many businesses. It would put many, many tens of thousands of Australians out of work, when we're already going to lose plenty. But this policy, yes, it does rely on Australians doing the right thing, being careful, staying at home if sick, when in fact we see people behaving so badly that the Prime Minister today had to read the nation the Riot Act.
Stop hoarding. I can't be more blunt about it. Stop it. It's not sensible, it's not helpful, and I've got to say it's been one of the most disappointing things I've seen in Australian behaviour in response to this crisis. That is not who we are as a people. It is not necessary. Stop doing it. It's ridiculous. It's un-Australian.
Well said. But I don't want to leave you panicking. Now, yes, this virus has been spreading so very fast. And that sounds like it's coming for us all, and 1 in 100 of those infected will die. But there are maybe, just maybe, now some reasons to doubt that it will get that bad. And it's not just because of the government's protection measures. First, Singaporean scientists say this virus, COVID-19, seems to be mutating to a weaker form, as the SARS virus did towards the very end. And I want to show you something else. You remember, of course, all those people who were trapped on the Pacific Diamond cruise ship, including a lot of Australians. That ship was like one giant Petri dish, perfect for transmitting the virus. You couldn't get an environment more likely to spread it to a captive crowd of people. But a study of that shows something very encouraging. Of the more than 3,000 passengers and crew, 83% did not get infected. That's incredible. And there were just 7 deaths, all of people older than 70. Now, the passengers tended to be quite old, and when you adjust the sample to allow for that, you get a general death rate for infected people of 1.2%, towards the lower end of most estimates, which have gone up. Well, in Italy it's about 6 or 7. Now, I doubt that even the experts are sure where this pandemic is going. It could suddenly peter out and make this panic look ridiculous. But that may be wishful thinking. And until then, we have no choice. We must treat this as deadly serious.